Okay, here's today's entry. I made the backpack. So you can see I made the panel. You can watch my video on how to do that. And there's my 3D printing, quote unquote, of my fan housing adapter. It's basically just hot glue. Works out very well. It's very strong. And that's going to go inside. So tomorrow I'm going to drill the holes for the source and the return air, and holes for the vents, for the filters. The filters are at the bottom. And let me see if I can get in a closer view of this. So you can pause that to read all the features I'm going to have. When I try this, I'm not going to have any adapters. I don't have the plugs and the USB and the man-machine interface connectors yet. But I will. I'll get them eventually. And the white areas are just reserved areas that I really couldn't mount anything because of the internal workings where the fan and the power, the battery is and whatnot. And tomorrow I'll give you an inside view of it. And what else? So that's it for today. And tomorrow we'll get this going. We're going to wait for hoses. Once we get the hoses, this is pretty much done. I don't know if you can see, but I've got the fan running. And this is pretty much the setting I'm going to have. It's a low PWM. It's about 55 on the PWM scale. Not even, maybe a little less than that, maybe about 50. And that's just enough to keep pulling air from the filters. As you can see, I'm going to have 5-stage, a P100 filter, which is like an N95 that most people are getting, but 100 is a 99.97 particulate percentage, and it's oil resilient, which means oil mists, which are very, very fine and hazardous, so I think they're the better filter. Then I'm going to have a thin layer of activated charcoal. That's in case there's odor in the air. That might get rid of some of the odor. And then the HEPA filter, which is pretty much the same as what I believe is an N95 filter, just to refilter, even though it's probably a wider filter, just to keep the charcoal in place, because it's going to be sandwiched between the HEPA and the P100 filter. And then it's going to go through an electrostatic filtration system where electricity, high voltage, through little slots in plastic will attract any kind of particles and dust, and hopefully viruses. And then finally in the ultraviolet stage, where it'll just get blasted with ultraviolet light to really destroy everything. So the air coming in should be of really good quality, and that'll go right through the fan, sent to my mask. Then return air will come, and then you don't need as many stages on the output because the air is pretty clean. But in case I have a virus, I'm still going to pass it through the ultraviolet, the electrostatic, and then another HEPA filter on the way out. So have places to charge, USB so I can update the Arduino, man-machine interface. This is where I'm going to be able to control. I'm going to have a little box on my chest where I can control the fan speed, and if I get an alarm, I can hear it and whatnot. And some other features. So that's pretty much it. So stay tuned for updates.